I was going to say that probably outlines the protocol that you actually deploy to help people learn new skills that
no so what we did is let me just go, because this is useful for people because it helps. One, the protocol was simply this: we took park skiing, which is this hugely complicated, dangerous acrobatic thing, and said there are only 8 foundational skills in park skiing: crouching, slashing, grinding, moving your body in a 180, moving your body in a 360, and doing a move called the shifty. And so what we did is we taught people 2 new movements a day. The goal wasn't go into the terrain park and throw tricks. It was go into the terrain park and play with these new body movements. We had an embodied cognitive approach to learning, different learning style, won't go into that, but literally play with these two movements a day. Playing with the new movements will, for reasons we can go into if you want, drop you into flow, and the flow amplifies learning, and you're going to end up learning tricks along the way. How did we measure it? You asked how I measured learning in this experiment. We videotaped everything. So there's a standard way we judge success in free skiing competitions, right? It's a so-called PAVE criteria: progression, amplitude, difficulty, et cetera, and we literally had a panel of judges who judge free skiing competitions and other physical things, and we rated them. We gave them a bunch of, we tracked physiological measures and flow measures and a bunch of other stuff like that, but literally we did standard video review of free skiing. And what was cool is, if you just want to talk about learning and progression, we saw a 26.5% increase in learning on all 5 of these criteria from the first training session to the 4th, which is kind of amazing when you're talking about people who had no park skiing experience whatsoever, lots of fear, right? We're just intermediate athletes in the thing. To see a 26.5% increase was significant. So lots of learning. You asked the second half of your question was, what can you do about wisdom? This is a really easy one. There's 30 years of data on loving kindness meditation, compassion meditation. So it's a very specific kind of focused meditation. This is when Richard Davidson at the University of Wisconsin, my alma mater, go Badgers, teamed up with the Dalai Lama, and they spent 30 years doing research on monks and what goes on in their brains. They were using compassion meditation. So we know so much about this. And just a side note, of all the things you could do if you're interested in peak performance aging, they recently did a study where they compared loving kindness meditation versus focused meditation, and they looked at, among other things, telomere attrition. So one of the reasons we age, there are 9 known causes of aging. One of them is telomere attrition. What is a telomere? You have a chromosome, right? And it's constantly repeating itself. The chromosome has a cap on the end, like bumpers on a car to protect the chromosome. Those are your telomeres. As genes copy themselves, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. At a certain point, the cell stops functioning, and it either, then you have problems. So they literally found that 6 weeks of loving kindness meditation versus regular focus meditation actually decreases or stops telomere attrition. So not only does this stuff actually help train up wisdom, it trains up telomere attrition. So when you talk about wisdom, when you talk about seeing things from other people's perspectives, that's actually a part of the brain called the temporal parietal junction. It does perspective taking, and it does like extreme perspective. So when you have an out-of-body experience, that is the brain's way of giving you a radically new perspective. Why do people have out-of-body experiences? Like, the first one I ever had, I went skydiving, jumped out of a plane, jumped right out of my body. And I was like, well, what the hell is going on? It's literally the temporal parietal junction, which does perspective, both physical and psychological, saying, oh crap, you just jumped out of an airplane, you're gonna die. Let's change your physical perspective radically so maybe you can find a solution that'll keep you alive. That's what's happening when we have out-of-body experiences, or one of the things that's happening.